there's some people that just always put excuses, and that's the problem, that we see in today's society now, that so many people and the grand majority of the world population have this mentality of external locus of control. So it's not too late to change. It's not too late. If you're listening to this right now, change. I'm talking to you. Change. If you got to do it, if this is what you need to hear, if this is the wake-up call, you need it. I need you to change.
This is season 2, guys.
And you're listening to the Lama Podcast.
This fool is the Lama.
This is Josh Martinez.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Doros.
This is Nathaniel Morales.
This is Della.
Good, guys, we're getting the Lama Podcast, man.
And you're listening to the Lama Podcast.
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 Okay, we should be good. You want to start it off for me?
Good.
Tres, dos, uno. Hola, bienvenidos a la Lama Podcast. This is not in Spanish. Welcome to the Lama Podcast.
Bienvenidos.
People keep telling us we need to do it in Spanish, but not today. Welcome, everyone, to the Lama Podcast. I am your host, Jered Garcia, followed with my other host, co-host, who is
Joshua Martinez.
Joshua Martinez. Yes, we say our names every single time. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. How have you been doing, my friend Josh?
Doing good. Everything's been smooth sailing. Last night, I don't know if you saw my story, but there was a drunk driver that crashed right in front of my house.
Oh my god, a drunk driver?
Yeah, he was drinking.
Oh my
and driving.
god.
He crashed right in front of my house. It was like at almost midnight. It was like 11:40 maybe, and he crashed right in front of my house. It was so loud, like we thought it was gonna be like he hit our car or hit a tree right in front of us, but he literally just hit a bush. He's so lucky. Like no one was there. He wasn't injured. The car was like pretty bad. Like not too bad, but like kind of bad. But like other than that, like he's so lucky. Like nothing happened.
Dang, that's scary. Feel bad for that guy. His insurance probably went up. Very sad. Okay, but Josh, I was gonna ask you, how are you emotionally? Because after what happened the other day on our live, I just feel so horribly bad for you.
Actually, it was last night, not the other day. It was last night.
Oh yeah, last night.
We found out that you guys just want to talk to my dad and not me. Don't worry, I have a special guest for you guys right now. Just kidding. Made you guys think.
I was so excited.
Nah, he's at work right now, so maybe for the next Lama Podcast, we'll have him as a guest.
Yeah. And then for those of you, I imagine most of us are on the lives, but, make sure you guys tune in. The day before we put out a podcast, we're going to be going live. So if you guys follow us over there, make sure you guys have your notifications on.
If you guys want to hear everyone talk crap about me and, like, make me feel bad, the lives are the perfect time to go see it.
Oh, dude, I think that's what it's turned into, just roasting Josh session.
Yeah, that's all it's been. Like, that's what it's become, just roast Josh session.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's all good. I appreciate the love.
Oh my god. Okay, pues, well, getting into the first topic that we had here, Josh had prepared this topic since a while ago, and as we had told you guys, we had a few things that that we've been working on, planning, and just been taking time to get to, and this was a very interesting topic that Josh had. Josh, I want you to go ahead and introduce it, and then we'll go ahead and get into it.
So the topic, or the first topic, as Jered mentioned, the first topic that we will be speaking of is internal and external locus of control. Locus meaning location. So internal locations of control and external locations of control. Basically, it's people who, external, for example, are people who always blame external forces for their failures, for their, their wrongdoings. They're just always making excuses, and that's the main point. External people that have external controls, external locus of control, are always blaming others. So that's a big difference between internal and external. Internal are always like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done this better, instead of blaming other sources for your own failures.
Yeah, and I think we see something like this a lot, and I feel like someone could have easily interpreted this from the last podcast that we did that's coming out tonight. That we were talking about how the school system is broken and there's many errors in it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, they are the cause of your failures or your shortcomings,
Yeah.
Because there's people that do horrible in school, right? And they go on with their life, and now they work at, somewhere they hate. They're not doing well for themselves, by their own accounts. And, it's just like these are things that obviously are not, you can control these things, right? Just like anything. There's certain things that we cannot control in our life, but the way you look at them, the way you look at these things, it affects how, you react to it. And I think that's the main thing, is how you observe the things that are happening to you, right? Like my mom the other day, not to just to give like a little story of it, because I was like, when you told me about this topic, I instantly thought about this, and my mom told me the other day, because she's having right now with the tags ran out of the car, right? And she tells me, "Oh my God, there's a cop behind me." She was calling me and left me a voicemail, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna call her back. What happened?" And then she calls me back. She's like, "The cop left." She's like saying, "I don't know why I was so scared about something happening. I wasn't doing anything illegal. Nothing would have happened to me." She's like, the worst thing that would happen is that they take the car, and then it's okay. We have a third car, and you don't need to drive it. Like it's just at home for emergencies or something."
Yeah.
She's like, "I have no reason to worry about it. I have no reason to be scared." And now right after I told myself that, I was able to calm down, right? And then I was telling her, anybody else, they would have been thinking about it even when they got home, like, "Oh my God, that was scary. That was so bad. I got so scared." They were looking at my plaques, at my tags or whatever it was, but the way you look at things just helps you with that. Obviously, we still need to get our tags, but, it's something that the way you look at it changes how you react to it and how it affects you.
Yeah. And the example I gave yesterday during the live, that I got a speeding ticket this past Monday. I was driving from San Francisco with Jacob and my cousin Nick and his nephew Aiden. And I was driving fast. I cannot deny it. And the cop pulled me over the first time. Didn't give me a ticket. The second time he pulled me over, he gave me a ticket. Oh my God. So, but like for me, like for someone to blame, like, "Oh, the cop pulled me over because he was a jerk. He was being a douche." Like no, like I was speeding. I should have learned the first time. I didn't. I didn't. Yeah. I was a dumbass that wanted to continue speeding, and I ended up getting pulled over, getting a ticket. But there's a lot of people that will say like, "No, the cop was being a jerk, and he's just pulling me over because he has nothing else better to do." But it's not like that. Like some people just need to take control and remember what we just watched. Taking control or taking responsibility. Well, that's the main thing for internal and external locus of control. Taking responsibility for your actions. The people that have external locus of control tend to let others take responsibility, so that if they fail, they're like, "Oh, well, so-and-so, it was because so-and-so." Like, for example, this podcast. If this podcast, we stopped doing it, that's like me blaming, "Oh, yeah, well, it's because Jered didn't want to anymore." But in reality, it's both of us. If one of us stops, it's not just, it's both of us, we're both doing it. Yeah. So if one of us stops, we can't just blame the other because it's both, it takes two to tango. You can't, you can't just blame other sources. And that's what the internal and external locus of control is.
Exactly. Like, and if one day you just come up to me and say, "Well, I don't want to do it anymore," I should respect that, whatever it is, like, and it just doesn't happen anymore, But then what you said is just saying like, "Well, okay, that happened. Whatever. Life goes on." But if I were to be like, "Oh, Josh, he's being so mean to me right when things were going good and everything was good, we felt so good, and he just doesn't want to take the time to do it." Like I'm trying to think like, I don't think this, but somebody could easily come into my mind, right? I'll be like, "I'm the one doing all the work. I'm the one doing this, and he doesn't even want to. It's his fault that this isn't happening. It's his fault because he's not helping me." And I'm like, you don't, like, I could easily like say like, "I don't need Josh to do it." You could be like, "I don't need Jered to do something," It's just like, people put too much faith in others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I've always
Yeah,
told people. It's like anything you do, like there's a saying that I heard once from somebody I respect a lot, and they said, there's only two people you can trust: yourself and God, right? Because everyone else at some point, even if it's like not like completely life changing and devastating, they're going to flake out on you. They're going to fail.
Mhm.
They're not going to live up to your standards that you put in your own head, because it's not even like things that they might have said. It's things that you've set up in your own head, you know? And you can only trust yourself and God. So those are
Yeah.
the people that are in control.
Yeah, like something I've learned throughout my life is hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And that comes for everything. Like when you're expecting someone or something out of someone, you hope for the best. You hope that they're gonna do what they say, but prepare for the worst.
Yes.
And even the worst that you can think of, there's a worst that's even gonna be like even like far
Way-
beyond that. So
Yes.
like you were mentioning, there's some people that just always put excuses, and that's the problem, that we see in today's society now, that so many people and the grand majority of the world population have this mentality of external locus of control, that they blame everything. And the example I gave you, Jered, when we were preparing for this podcast is, let's say it's a person that works at a fast food or whatever, and they don't like their job. They're not happy with their job. They're not happy with their boss, and they eventually get fired. That person, not being a good worker, always showing up late, always getting in trouble, always having problems with the customers, and the manager finally fires him. Whose fault is it? Is it the manager for trying to keep a better workplace, or is it your fault? But the people that have external locus of control, they're going, oh, my boss is a jerk. He never liked me since the beginning. He's always stabbing at me. He's always like talking behind me. It's like, no, you have to man up. You have to take responsibility for your own actions. Your actions are, you're always late. You're never on time. You're a bad worker. You're lazy. Your jobs, we have to tell you many times how to do them or what to do, and you still don't do it right. Is it the boss's fault for firing you? No. But a lot of people have the mentality of, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of the system. I'm a victim. And that's the problem with external locus of control. And what I want to talk about today is that I think all of us have, no matter if we think we're internal locus of control, I think all of us have external.
Yes.
I think all of us, no matter how good or how much control we have of our lives, we always try to look for like that path or that little opening,
Scapegoat.
like, oh, well, yeah, exactly, a scapegoat that we could think like, oh, well, it was this happened because of this. I could blame this. Like, I got a bad grade in my class. It's because my teacher sucks. It's because my teacher this. And we're always looking for a way to get out of situations when we should just take it upon ourselves. For example, like, and I like using myself as an example, because something I learned from my dad that he learned, is like, when you point a finger, you got three fingers pointing right back at you. So if you want to point a finger, you got to examine yourself and make sure that, whatever you're saying, you're living up to it. So that's why I'm saying, like, myself, like, with all this COVID and going back to school, I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of difficult. Like, it's my first semester in college, and it's like a new system for everyone, and we're getting used to it. And I'm gonna be honest, I like it, but I also don't like it. I'd rather be in person. And I've been struggling a little bit. My classes aren't too difficult, but one of my classes, my English class, I could blame it on the teacher, like, oh, she's kind of disorganized, she's not used to the Zoom calls and blah blah blah. But in reality, I have to look at myself and examine myself and say, and are you doing anything to improve? Are you working your hardest to try to become a better student in this environment? Because that's what it's all about. We can't just point fingers and can't just like start saying, well, it's not my fault that my teacher is disorganized. It's not my fault that COVID happened. It's not my fault. Well, yeah, it's no one's fault. It's only yours. Mm-hmm. You have control. You have responsibility of your own actions. But if you don't want to take responsibility, that's fine. But your success or your achievements aren't going to be as much as those who personally take that responsibility.
Yeah, and that's another thing that, like, you know, we mentioned this person in the last podcast that we did, like Gary Vee. He mentions a lot that accountability is something that is very important, you know?
Exactly.
Taking accountability and responsibility for your actions, the things that you do or that you don't do, you know, understanding that everything that happens or that doesn't happen is a result of your inaction or your decision to be inactive, you know? Because, you know, and any situation at all, right? Someone that, like, and I'll say that for myself, you know, like someone that is overweight, they don't lose weight, they don't become healthy because they decide not to exercise and they decide not to eat healthy. Someone that has, you know, some sort of mental issues, I understand they have mental issues, but many times, most people, it's mild and they could have the decision to go and talk to a therapist, to find someone to speak to, right? Different things that in different aspects in your life, right? That you can avoid these situations or avoid these problems for the most part by taking some sort of course of action. Be it that you decide to take the action to not do something, right? Take the action to do something, right? Like if we're talking about an overweight person, taking the action to not eat the junk food, right? Taking the action to not eat the things that are bad for you, and then taking the action to eat the things that are good for you. And to do the things that change your lifestyle, you know? And then about the thing that I was saying, like the Gary Vee mentions, right? Taking accountability for your actions, right? Taking accountability of your life. Because you can't just say, oh, you hear this a lot of times with like, you know, like some people where they say, oh, my parents, they never taught me this way. My parents raised me wrong. My parents did this. And they very well could have, right?
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking when you were starting to speak about like the fat kid or like someone that's overweight. It's like, you know, yes, your parents may bring a lot of junk food, but, you know, no one is forcing you to eat it.
Yeah,
you know, no one's shoving it down your throat to eat it. You know, it's you that make the decision.
All you have is like tacos every day or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or like I can't even think like fried chicken every day. Instead of eating half the bucket of fried chicken, you could eat like literally one piece. Yeah. You know, you know, like you just eat less of it. That'll also help you, right? Even if you eat junk food, but you eat less. You know, I would think simple math, it just like ends up working somehow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like there's things that you can do anytime. And some people, they like to blame their parents for things, right? My parents never taught me. Oh, sorry, my phone, 1 second. Do not work for the United States government. They will call you all day. Okay, let's get back to it. But my parents, right? What was I saying again? Look, my parents, look, if they taught me, like I say, my parents are the ones that because of them, I don't know how to take care of myself. I don't know how to be independent. I don't know how to live my life. And it's like, you don't have to live at your parents' house, right? You don't have to take their money. You don't have to do these things, right? Like, I know, like, I say this for myself now too. And like, I'll say, I don't have, and I'll be completely honest, I don't have this full accountability yet, you know, for myself, you know? Where like I still live with my parents, but I'm okay with that. I don't think it's wrong or like, you know, they're not teaching me to be independent because I feel like they do teach me, you know. But when I was living on my own in California, I felt like I had to really learn it fast, right? And I could have easily said, my parents didn't teach me how to take care of myself. My parents didn't teach me, you know, the things that I need to do to be able to be self-sustaining or to be independent, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just like. It's like you have to make, eventually, it doesn't matter if someone taught you or they didn't teach you. At the end of the day, you're going to have to figure it out, right? Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, right? If you're drowning, right? This is how I learned to swim. My uncle Oscar, shout out to Oscar. I was about 4 years old, and I kept going into the pool, and I would be in the little deep end, or the shallow end, where it's like, you know, 1 foot, I'm literally on the steps, and I would be drowning. I'm 4 years old. And my uncle, I keep screaming, I'm drowning. And they're pissed off because they're like, why does this little kid keep going in the water if he's drowning, right? So my uncle, he gets me, picks me up, and I'm like, oh, thanks, he saved me, right? He carries me outside and throws me into the deep end, right? Dead center of the deep end. Like, no way I can't grab a wall, nothing. I'm like 4 or 5. And they're like, oh my God, what are you doing? He's like, stop. If this kid is going to be that annoying, he has to learn how to swim, right? He has to learn. And I thrashed around in the water for like 30 seconds, and all of a sudden, I end up floating, right? And I'm all good, right? You have to. These are things some people might not do that, right? Because to be careful, but sometimes there's things that you just have to learn, right? And some people say, "Oh, if I only knew this when I was younger, my parents didn't teach me. The school system didn't teach me. This didn't teach me." Yes, those are things that are totally justifiable to say. But
exactly.
if you allow
that's what we want to express. Like, there are justifications. Like, there are reasons that we just don't have control of, and that way,
Yes.
we can just say, like, you know what, it wasn't my fault. Like, I couldn't do anything about it. I tried what I could, and that's it. But there's people that just look for any excuse.
Yeah, because then it's one thing for something to be justifiable, right? But then it's another to say that because of this, being justified because of this thing, I will never be able to do X, right? It's like, no. You can do that. You can do the things. You can learn, right? Like, someone can, like me, I can learn. If my parents die tomorrow, right? I have to figure out how to take care of my brother Ticos, to take care of my family, to take care of my animals, to pay the bills, right? Maybe I'm gonna have to live a while without Wi-Fi, right? Maybe I have to go to McDonald's to do a podcast. I don't know what I have to do, right? You have to figure it out, You're gonna end up figuring it out, and you can't just say blame this person and because of that I'm never gonna learn, right? You have to just understand that if you want to learn something, you have to the situation. You can, and you have to allow yourself to be in a situation to learn those things.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that the grand majority of people, as I mentioned earlier, are part of the external locus of control. Like we said, locus is meaning location. But the few that are internal, we see that they have achieved great things. You see all these CEOs, you see all these, people that have wealth and have high status in society. They're not making excuses. They take things upon themselves. And that's why I wanted to talk about this topic, because sometimes we just need that little thing like, you know what, that's right. I need to stop blaming others for my faults. I need to stop blaming others and making excuses, and just take initiative myself and fix what I got to do. And the example we saw, they gave the example of, there's a person, let's just say his name's Bobby. And Bobby has no girlfriend. He's not happy at his job, and he has no savings. Okay? What is he going to do? And we're going to think about why he has this. Okay? He puts the excuse, I don't have a girlfriend because girls are picky. Girls are so selfish. Girls are this. Okay?
They don't see how good I am.
Yeah, they don't see how good I am. Okay, second, I'm not happy with my job because my boss is a jerk and I don't like what I do. Third, I don't have any savings because my boss doesn't like me, because he doesn't give me a promotion. But it's like, you have to look, okay? Look at yourself. Examine yourself. Why don't you truly have a girlfriend? Are you someone that, do you look like a homeless person when you go out? Do you look like, do you actually take time to, look nice, dress yourself? Or do you just put on whatever, don't take showers, don't have anything, and expect girls to just jump on you? Like, no, like, you got to take initiative yourself. So this person is completely changing. You know what? I see that it's not the girl's fault. It's my fault. I didn't put the time and effort into myself to make myself look good. I'm going to change that. Therefore, that person probably will find a girlfriend. Second, he's not happy with his job. Go find another job. Find something that you do like doing. For example, we mentioned this podcast. It's something we enjoy, something we have fun doing. We love hearing the feedback from all of our viewers. We love seeing like when you guys repost us. We love seeing like when you are all on live with us. Everything about it. This is what brings us joy. And the saving part of Bobby, or whatever his damn name is like, you know what? Like, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Or are you spending money, just, ostentatiously and trying to flaunt and trying to do so many things to impress people, and that's why you're not saving? You got to think about all aspects. You can't just blame things like, girls don't like me because, they're jerks, they're full of themselves. Like, no, There are very good women out in this world. Now, I'm granted there are a lot that are very stuck up, but that's a different topic. But
Yes.
you gotta think about yourself. He's like, you know what? Did I do my hair today? Do I look nice when I'm going out? Do I smell good when I'm going out? Am I wearing the right shirt when I'm going out? If I'm gonna go to a job interview, am I gonna go in pajamas, or should I take a colored shirt and look nice? You know, that those are decisions that we make, but we make an excuse. Like, oh, the person didn't hire me because he said I didn't look good. Well, did you? Did you go appropriately? Like, did you go dress appropriately for that occasion? You know, if you're going to go try to apply to be a paralegal or at a law firm or something, and you go in pajamas, you expect to get that job? Hell no. There's no way in hell you get that job. And it comes between their decisions you make. And what, like Jered said, comes with accountability. You know, taking responsibility and taking all of your actions and taking responsibility for them. And that's the thing when it comes to this topic, that so many people fear responsibility. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. And everyone wants the power, but no one wants the responsibility.
And one thing that, how you mentioned, right, that reminded me, because me and Josh, I'm going to link it in the description, this video that kind of, inspired Josh and me to, or mainly Josh, because Josh had this topic to speak on this topic. They said that quote that you just said, right? With great power comes great responsibility. But they also said, with great responsibility comes great power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not only, and you got to think about this, right? And if we think of it in a worldview, the people that have the most power are the ones with the most responsibilities.
Yeah.
The people that, like, let's think of this, right? People that everyone loves to talk about. Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, he's in charge of the biggest company in the history of mankind, right? This man does not get to have a lot of free time, I would imagine, right? He's going and he's networking all the time. He's trying to find the best suppliers. He's trying to find the best deals every single second to save. If he saves 1 cent on their best-selling project, he saves 1 cent on it, he's saving millions, tens of millions of dollars, right? And that's more money that he gets into his pocket and that he gets into the company's pocket, and that makes more people buy Amazon, that makes more people want to invest into Amazon, more people want to sell with Amazon, right? But this man has to do so many things beforehand. He was doing this out of his mom's house, right? Imagine the responsibility he had to take. That he's like, okay, I have to help my mom. I have to make sure that if I'm doing this, I'm also having some way to help and support my family, because I'm not just gonna do this selfishly, right? All these different responsibilities. If you're somebody, let's say in the the small responsibilities that I have, right? I'm somebody that's in charge of the choir, right? And I have a sort of power over others, right? If some people would see it that way, and I also see it that way. Sometimes you have like this, overrankingness of others.
Yeah, you have a responsibility to oversee them.
Yes, to oversee them, right? And that comes with its merit, right? But I have to have these other responsibilities where I have to learn songs, have to learn to understand music, honestly, and you have to learn. And
it's not just learning the song; you have to learn it to be able to teach it.
Yes,
and there's one thing of learning it, and there's one thing to learn how to teach it.
Yes, exactly. And not to put myself too much on a pedestal, right? But these are things that I don't just get to be the guy that's in front waving his hands, and that everyone's like respect.
Hey, you can't forget the little stick you sometimes use.
Yes. Do I have it here? No, I don't have it here right now. But yeah, I don't get to be the guy with the stick that everyone is like very respectful towards. There's people that never met me, but they just see me like walking around. They know who I am or whatever, and they automatically show this respect to me. And it's something that it doesn't come because I'm Jered. It comes because I have taken responsibility, right? And that goes with everything in life. Your boss, he deserves your respect because this man has taken the responsibility to make the schedules, to be somebody that basically most managers, it's like a 24/7 job because they call him, they're like, hey, one of the dumb kids that you put that's in 9th grade that just got this job and he's working only 4 hours a day, like 2 times a week. He didn't show up. You need to come here, right? And now because somebody else's stupid decision, he has to go. But he has way more power than you, right? He can ask for like a week off if he wants to because he's working all the time, right? This responsibility gives him power, right? And that's kind of just the main thing that I wanted to, throw up on top of what you said, that it's not just responsibility is scary, like you were saying, we're scared of responsibility. I'll say it for myself, I am scared. When there's something new that comes into my life that I have to be responsible of or that I have to take, the lead on, I get nervous, I get scared because I think I have these other responsibilities. How am I going to be able to fulfill all of them? How am I going to be able to continue to do these things, But I understand that, how can I say this? It's scary, but it's something that is necessary. Because if everyone's being honest with themselves, most people have a lot more time on their hands than they lead them up to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, not to get too much, and, I don't want to go too much into myself. I've already been talking for a little bit, but if I say with the podcast, I'll be like, I can say, oh, I have choir, I have the podcast, I have my job, I have to do the animals, right? But if I'm honest with myself, right, the podcast, we record it for about an hour or 2 a week, right? I edit it for maybe anywhere between 4 to 8 hours, right? And then with the animals, that's about an hour a day. Kids choir, most of the time, now that I'm in a spot where I don't need to practice a lot, that's maximum an hour and a half, right? And these are things that I'm saying is like, if you add all that up, that's like 5 hours, right? Where's the other like 40 hours in my week? I say that I'm busy, but how much time are you taking to do things that are not good for you, that are unproductive? Are you sleeping a little too long? Are you just hanging out in your bed after you felt like you woken up, but now you're just hanging out in your bed, scrolling on your phone, going through Instagram? Are you binge watching that entire series of Netflix in a week? If we're honest with ourselves, we all have a lot more time on our hands than we let ourselves believe.
Yeah, totally. Like, there was an assignment that I had for one of my classes, and my teacher wanted us to, write down, there's 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. So I believe that's 270. I'm not good at math. Let me do that real quick. 24 times 7. 168. That was really bad. I'm sorry, guys. I suck at math.
Yes, you do.
So she's like, oh, yeah, calculate how many hours it takes, a day that you have class, how many hours you take to eat, how many hours you sleep, and calculate how much free time you truly have. Because we tend to underestimate how much free time we have. We might think, like, I'm so busy, but we start looking like, you know what? I spent 3 hours on my phone today. I spent 17 hours on my phone this week and stuff like that. It begins to add up, and you start to think like, well, where the hell did my time go? Time is something that you never get back. You could get money back, you could get so many things back, but you never get time back. And that's what people with internal locus of control notice, and they take account for so many things. And one of the things that when I was learning about this is one of the most known person that have internal locus of control is arguably the greatest basketball player ever, Michael Jordan. If you hear his story, he was cut from his high school basketball team. And, you start thinking about that. He's a young guy. He gets cut. Most kids will give up on their dreams then and there. They'll give up. Like, you know what? I'm not good at basketball. Screw it. I'm done. I'm never going to play basketball again. But his mentality was, I'm going to get better. I'm going to prove this coach wrong. I'm going to be the best. And that's what an internal locus of control does. That is what, they do. He started training at 5, 6 a.m. every single day before he even went to school. And he would train every single day and started learning about the rules, had such a high IQ when it came to basketball. And that pushed him. He didn't let that excuse of not making the team, oh, that's why I suck. That's why I didn't go big. That's why because I didn't make the team because the coach didn't like me. No, he didn't put excuses. He blamed himself, and he took responsibility for it. And he took that responsibility and pushed it even more to become greater and greater every single day. And now we look at his story, we look at his records, we look at so many things he did, and he's arguably the greatest basketball player to ever live. And it's, it comes to each and every one of us. Do you want to be like that loser that always makes excuses and everyone looks down on you? Or do you want to be kind of like Michael Jordan and just get better and better? And when people look at you and like, damn, that guy's a badass. No, it's up to you.
Yes, and it's something that, like you said with Michael Jordan, so many people, like some people, honest to God, they suck at crap. You're freaking horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like we said, there's just some things we cannot control.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like some people, like if we're being quite honest, if Michael Jordan was 5'4", he would not be good at basketball. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, genetics didn't help you. You can never be good. Right? And then it's, I'm not trying to saying, that like some people may not understand those things. I imagine some people, would have a good understanding of when they're honestly suck at crap, right? Versus, you understand that something like Michael Jordan, the coach said, oh, you suck, right? And he's like, okay, well, I'm pretty decent height, Like some people might say, that's the only thing you need to play basketball, right? Maybe I just need to work on my dribbles. I need to work on this. I need to work on that, right? And think you can start working on it being better. Right? Like, I know myself, and I keep saying to myself because if we're honest with each other, and we're honest with everybody, we try to relate to ourselves and things, We try to relate to ourselves. We're very selfish, and I'm not denying that. I'm very selfish. I try to relate everything to me because I'm the star of my own damn movie, and at the end of the day, I'm trying to make myself better, So I'm just trying to give you guys the real of what's affected me, right? Because I see, like, when I was doing, like, I play guitar and I play piano. The skills that I have now, I have honestly learned them within the last 2 years, because in the last 2 years I've taken the initiative to practice and be better, right? I've been playing guitar for like about 12 years, right? Where I've been like, I've had a guitar and here and there I play, but I would play the same 10 songs all the time. I'd never allow myself to be better, right? And then when I start saying, okay, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to try to learn what scales are. I'm going to try to understand how to do a bar chord. I'm going to understand what what the scales are. I'm going to learn this more complicated song, right? Then you start, it's just taking that, like you said, taking the action to do something, taking the action to do it. Because Michael Jordan could have easily said, nah, I suck, right? And that's somebody that's if we think of Michael Jordan's story, right? It could be something, it is very inspirational, right? I'm not taking that away. It's very inspirational. But at the end of the day, what we saw was somebody just trying to be better, right? Somebody who said, hey, you suck. And they're like, oh, dang, let me try to be better, right? Maybe, I imagine he thought I would be the best. But at the beginning, I imagine he would think, I just need to get better. I just need to at least be the same level as the people that did make it on the team. Right? I need to be better. I need to be at least decent. And when you get to decent, right, there's nothing that stops you from getting to amazing, to exceptional, to, the best.
No. And something that like I've learned throughout my life, and I think this is where we could finish this topic is, always try your best in everything. That's what you have to do. There's some people that half-ass everything and then they expect to do great or do good, but try your best. If your best is not good enough, well, at least you can say, I tried my best. I did what I could, but that still was too difficult for me. I should try something lower. I should try doing something else. But when you don't try your hardest, you're left thinking like, well, I could have done it, or I should have done it, or stuff like that, and that's, that's the different mentalities. People are going to put excuses and people are going to say, you know what, I just got to accept that this job or this thing is just not for me. I tried my hardest. I tried my best. I did what I could, all in my power. And I guess it's not a right fit. But then there's other people, they put excuses. And that's where, the difference between these two personality types is, is very visual, very present. That, there's some that are, try their best, and some that half-ass everything, and they try to get away with it.
Yes, and then my last thing on it was, you kind of reminded me of this thing that I forgot to mention earlier, was, if honestly, you only have one life, right? Shout out to Drake, YOLO. But you only have one life, and you gotta live it. You only have one chance to live it, right?
Yeah.
And some may believe in, in afterlife or, salvation, different things, right? But if you're on here, I imagine this for myself. I want to enjoy my life while I'm here. You know what I mean? I might as well. I want to enjoy it here, and I want to enjoy it after, wherever the heck I go, right? And if I think about, this, it's like, by the time you're 80 or you're 50, you don't know how long you're going to live. By the time you get to that age, are you confident that you had tried everything that you did, right?
Yeah.
Like me, I'll be honest. This kind of goes into, I didn't think of doing this so cleanly, but talking about like these sports cards, right? I've been telling you guys I've been into sports cards. If I just said, oh, it seems way too crazy and complicated, I'm never going to get into it, whatever, And then my whole life I'll be like, I missed out on buying this card. I saw it when it was cheap. I saw, like, people talk about it with stocks, right? Like, I didn't, like Gary Vee, he's like, I missed out on Uber when it was in the angel round, when it was like $5 a share. And I was back then I was doing $10 million. I would be like, I would be a billionaire, right? But Gary Vee said, it's like, like, you just have to understand, the decisions you make, that they're decisions you make, right? And what I'm getting at is, you don't want to say what if. You want to know, you should try everything. Just because you have a job doing something, or like, let's say this podcast, just because now everybody's like, oh, Jered, Josh, and Jovan, they're the podcast guys, right? That doesn't mean I have to ever make YouTube videos. What if the day of tomorrow I want to be a gardener, right? I want to be a barber. I want to be something else. There's not something that says, oh, wait, Jered already picked, he already picked podcast guy, and he has to stay on this line here. You know what I mean? It's not just because you picked, oh, look, she's the McDonald's person, she has to be a McDonald's forever. Oh, she's the girl that does, she's the person that studied for architectural engineering, and she went to school for 8 years. Yeah, she's already on the path, she has to continue, right? Yeah, you don't have to continue these things. You can make a choice and change anything at any time. If you try a million things, I say you're going to be a lot happier than somebody that only tried 2. Because you're never going to have any regrets.
And like how you mentioned, Gary Vee is someone that like really is a big advocate for that. And he always says it. Like, ask someone in their 80s if they regret something, and most of them are filled with regret. Most of them are thinking, I should have done this when I was young.
And it's heartbreaking to hear that.
Even me being 21, I look back and I'm like, dude, I should have done this, or I could have done this when I was younger. I could have started this. I should have done this when I was younger. I wish my parents would have allowed me to do this, because you start getting older and you start realizing like, dude, I wasted so much time. I could have got into this so much earlier. Like your cards, for example. If you would have started this hobby or this passion that you have now, you probably would be a lot more successful had you started last year, had you started 5 years ago. You would have so much more experience and knowledge about it, because you're barely getting into the basics now.
Yes, exactly. And that's something that, if you don't try it, like someone that's interested in something, if you don't try it, you're never going to know. What if you end up being like, let's say there's people that, like, I'll say like, they're girls, right? What if they like to make little, there's this girl that I follow from here that she makes like little arts and crafts things, right? Mm-hmm. She sells little keychains, she sells necklaces, she makes little art pieces, and she now, like I've spoken with her and she's posted about it. She has made more money with her art and her arts and crafts things than she does at her regular job. She's still at her job, but she's made more from it and she enjoys it more, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, how, and what if one day she was like, this girl was, like an example of a keychain is like, she'll just make a keychain that's all colorful and glittery that has a letter, right? Like J for Jered, K for her name is Kate, right? Whatever it may be. And it's like, what if she's like, oh, that sounds freaking stupid, right? Like, who the heck is going to buy a little keychain with glitter on it, you know? And it's like, oh, who's going to buy some stupid painting that I make in my house? Okay, if Kate hears this, I'm not saying your paintings are stupid, but who's going to buy some stupid painting that I made in my house, right?
Yeah,
like,
who's going to buy... thoughts that go through our mind.
Yeah, that's the thoughts that go through your mind, you know? Yeah, Kate, don't come at me. Go follow Kate on YouTube. She makes videos. But she does this, right? She could have easily had these thoughts, right?
Yeah, she could have had those thoughts. Exactly.
You know, I imagine I would have those thoughts, right? Like, who's going to buy a little keychain like that?
Even with the podcast, like who's going to listen to us? Like who the hell is going to actually waste their time to hear the dumb crap that we have to say or the dumb things that we think about, you know? And if it would have just started or ended at that, we would have never experienced what we are at right now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, don't allow there to be what ifs. Allow there to be, you know, that I did this, you know, and good or bad. I think, you know, experiencing it is better than never experiencing it and wondering.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you live and learn, and you start experiencing new things, and you start to like think like, I should have done this, I should have done that, and at the end of the day, you know, as long as we have life, we're still able to do stuff, you know? So it's not too late to change. It's not too late. You know, if you're listening to this right now, change. I'm talking to you. Change. If you got to do it, if this is what you need to hear, if this is the wake-up call, you need it. I need you to change. Like, this is what you needed to hear. Yeah, Jered, I can't see your face, but
I'm pointing at the other camera.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like if you know, all these young kids, you know, even adults, even some that may be, you know, that may be older, if you're not happy with what you're doing, examine yourself and think, you know, have I tried doing this? Have I tried doing that? And something that you that like, and I swear this is to end the topic because like we're going a little over, but
yeah,
you know, sometimes we say like, oh, you should do this. You're like, oh, that's not me. That's not me. That's not who I am. When the hell did you define who you were?
Yeah.
When did you decide? When did you make the decision that you're not that person? That you're not social? That you're not this? You're not that? Like no. You can change whoever you are. You could change and make a big impact on your life, but it starts right now. And I'm talking to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the conversation. We are now going to talk about sports cards.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is something, a hobby, a job, occupation, a passion that Jered has had for a while now, and something that I kind of want to get into just because I love sports. And growing up, you know, we had Pokemon, you had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you had sports cards and different stuff like that. And you start looking at the value of them, and you start looking at, you know, how interested people are in them, and it's like, this is awesome. Like, I'm not the only one. So, you know, it brings that, like, that little kid that lives inside you. It brings that little, like, you know, that happiness, that joy, you know?
That describes it perfectly. Because I feel, dude, I honestly, dude, you know how, like, excited you would be when you wake up Saturday morning and your favorite cartoons are on? This is exactly how I feel. Every time I look at my freaking cards, I get so dang excited. It's so stupid. And, like, look, this, I'm going to show you guys. I'm trying to not mess them up because some of these actually are worth money. But this is about half my football collection that I've bought.
Right there.
This is half of the football stuff that I've bought. And this is just like within the last 2 months. Right? Right here. I have another, like, imagine like 20 of these that I have from when I was like 14. Like old cards that I literally just pulled out of our storage because I was so interested.
You've gone through them, right?
I've gone through most of them. I've gone through about, I say 70%, but I still have a lot more. Like I have old baseball cards, I have old football cards, a lot of things here. And like, let me show you this card here. Let me take it out because it's in, you know, and then this is gonna be like, just like, stay with me, guys. We're gonna be like, it's gonna be like a couple minutes, like 5 minutes. Like show and tell sort of thing, but then we're gonna start talking about like, you know, more detailed stuff about it. Hey, don't yawn. It's gonna make it seem boring. Okay. So I have this card, which is of
I'm tired.
Josh. Can you let me know who this beautiful man is that you see?
That's Bill Belichick.
This is Bill Belichick. This is his
He's hella
first.
young.
Dude, yeah, look how cute he looks.
Was that
right
his
here.
first year on the Browns?
Yes, his first time as head coach. And this is his card. This card, right now, I took it out of the top loader that I have for it. This one's kind of old. I need to change it. But this is about a $100 card right here, right? I have it upside down, yeah. This is about a $100 card, right? And let me show you this card, what it says. It's pretty cool. I'm going to show it up here. It says, yeah, you guys can't read it. I'm just going to show a picture later. It says, am I ready to be a head coach in the NFL? I think I am, but time will give everybody else the answer. I've been involved in some aspect of coaching for 30 years. I was breaking down films for my dad, a coach at Navy, when I was 8. Coaching is ingrained in me. I've done all the jobs you can do. Typing, driving people to the airport, lining the field, scouting, the works. I've coached defense, offense, and special teams. You win by getting everybody working together. Dude,
That
and now,
aged well. Wow.
that aged so freaking well. I have 2 of these cards. And they're about $100 each. These are, and that's just to show you, that's a coach, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
not even a
freaking
player.
coach.
It's a coach.
That's a freaking coach, man. And like the cards that have the most value are, and the way the cards work right now is that the cards that have value are modern players, right? The ones that have the most like upside to them, because they're the people that are playing right now. And when
the
they
ones
do
that
good,
people are seeing. Like
the
currently.
that they're seeing, right?
Yeah.
And they go up in value because everyone's like, oh, they're going like, it's basically right now what cards are is like every year it's
Kinda
like
like
hype.
stocks.
It's like stocks, exactly.
Yeah, like a person
with
does
hype.
good, his card gets better. And if he starts doing bad, his card starts to decline.
And if someone gets hurt, their cards go down. They go down a lot, right? Like, for example, let me try to find a card here that I have. And there's a lot of different cards, right? And we're going to get into like the basics of things. So there's certain cards, like let me show you. I have my 49er set over here, right? My 49er cards. I'm going to show you a couple that I have in here just to give you some examples of how the cards work, right? Because most cards, there's a lot of different sets, right? And there's people that have different licenses to the cards. If you see, I'm going to show the camera over here. On the bottom of this card, it says, if it'll ever focus, Jesus Christ, I don't know what's going on. But if you look here, it says, can you read what it says right there in the dead center?
No, it's really good.
It says Panini. I'll take a picture. Jered, take a picture, okay? It says Panini. Panini is the company that does the football cards, right? And they do football, right? So there's also that they also have like lines that they do, right? This one in particular is called, if you look at the top over here, Donruss.
Nick Bosa.
Yes, this is Nick Bosa. But if you look at the top, I can't see what I'm showing you. But if you look at the top here, it says Donruss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically like if you think about it, like Panini is like Ford, right? And then you have like the make and the model, right? So it's like a Ford, like a Ford F-150 or whatever it is, And this is like one of the lines, right? One of the makes.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, they do things called Optic. The ones that are really hype right now are Optic, Prism, and Mosaic, which are all different like designs, right? This one, the design is kind of, if we see here with this Nick Bosa card, right? It's kind of like has like this little streakiness to it, and the name here on the bottom, and the back, right? Simple here with their stats. And when you see, these are called, when it's simple like this, these are called the base cards, where it's just like simple white border, the colors of the team, that's called a base card. Then we start getting a little different. Then there's things that have, like, some of them are not as valuable as others, right? But there's cards, like, if we see here, these cards, I have 2 of the same one. Let me see. Kyle Juszczyk, right? I have his base card. I have his base card here. This card is probably worth like $1, right? I just have it all saved up like this because I like the Niners, right? It's probably like $1. But then you have the same card, but with blue borders. This is called a blue parallel. These cards are worth a little bit more. This card is probably worth about $5 because it's rarer, right? And
it's rarer.
It's rarer, right? Just like, okay, remember when Sirai one time she's like, Jered, I heard it.
I heard it.
I heard it. Like, oh my God, you were so close. But yeah, that's the thing, right? And then there's cards
that
also.
reminded me of like, sorry to get off topic, but that one show Chowder when he's like rada 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 rada.
Rada rada rada. Yeah. But then there's also cards like we have here. These are called inserts, right? Where they're not part of the base set of cards like the ones I showed you, but they're kind of like little themes, right? Like there's some that they have for the Super Bowl winners, where they have cards for them called The Champ is Here. I have one of those. I'll show you later. But like there's this one called the Dominator's Insert. Right here, this is Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen? Yeah.
Yes, this is Adam Thielen. The one that's worth more is I have over here this Adam Thielen. He's like $5 just because he's like, I don't know, he's just not doing good. That's like not his main card, right?
Nah, it's not. He's not doing good. It's Kirk Cousins not doing good, and the Minnesota Vikings in general are not doing good.
Yeah, it's just a crappy. Oh, look, like here's the one over here with the Chiefs. We have Anthony Hitchens. The Champ is Here, right? And this card is just like, it's called an insert. I have all the inserts that I have in here. There's another one of Adrian Peterson called the Gridiron Kings.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this is all only from this set, right? There's Ted Hendricks from the Raiders, Legends of the Fall, right? And these are just like special cards that are in there,
They
right?
just put them,
They just put them in there, right? And this is the one that like, these are the type of cards for any person. What's going to be the most valuable, right? And now we're going to stop doing the show and tell sort of thing, kind of talking more about the logistics of it. When you have a rookie card of somebody, it's always worth, almost always worth more than a newer card.
Any other card, yeah.
Right?
Worth any other card.
Kind of exceptions to it, but not really, is like the LeBron rookie cards are worth so freaking much. It's like $200,000, right? If you get one that's called PSA 10, right? And if to just kind of understand, there's two companies that basically give a grade to these cards, and they allow people to know like how good is the card, right? Is it centered correctly? All these things affect the price. If it's off center a little bit, that affects the grade that it gets. If it has a little chip in the corner, right? Let's say if you have a card and you just do one of these to it, right? I have it protected, so it's like, but if you do one of these to that, you literally, like for a LeBron card, it has a little ding in the corner, $50,000 gone. $50,000 gone, right?
Gone.
Afuera, no está, right? It's not here. And the cards that are worth the more are always rookie cards, because then it's like when they're doing good, they're like, oh, I want to get it from the beginning. Like I was saying, LeBron cards, rookie, Cleveland card, worth a lot. Laker card and Heat card, not hardly worth crap, right? Mm-hmm. But a Laker card is right now, because he's a lot of hype right now, it's worth a lot. But it's not expected to go as high as a Cleveland rookie card, right? Because that's not where he started. If over time LeBron stays at the Lakers, which I think would be freaking amazing, and he becomes known as more of a Laker than anything else, right? Like and this is kind of like an example, right? Like when you think of Michael Jordan, right? You think of him what team?
Bulls.
You think of him the Bulls. You don't think of him with what was the other team? The Wizards, right?
Wizards. You
don't think of him as the Wizards, right? He's a Bulls player, right? And if LeBron turns into LeBron the Laker, then the Laker cards are going to be worth a lot. Like his first year Laker cards, like his first year Laker cards are already worth more than his second year, right? And it's like, that's what it is. So here's a rookie card of, let me see if you recognize who this beautiful man is.
Justin Herbert. And you see here, who was drafted this year.
Yes, so this is like I'm taking care of this guy. I'm taking care of this guy a lot, right? Because this is a couple things.
What card is that? Like a platinum or something?
This is okay. So there's a couple things, right? Let me explain it. So
Please.
Right here we have a Justin Herbert card, and this is called an insert card. Okay, so it's one of these that are like special, not part of the base set, right? And basically with this card, what it is called the rookies, right? If you see over here, It's part of the rookies insert. So that's what it is, right? It's part of that line. I believe as well, because of the silver border around it. Do you see the silver border?
Yeah.
It's like a silver rookies, right? Sometimes I haven't investigated this too much, but sometimes there's cards that are like imagine a card exactly like this, but the border's red. That could be totally different price, totally different based on rarity, right? But this is a rookie card. Justin Herbert, about $45 right now, right?
Yeah, and it's only gonna get more.
It's only gonna get more.
He's doing really good.
Yes, he's doing insanely good. That's why I'm taking care of it so much. And then also, this is like the cards that get the most value all the time are the ones that look stupid, like insane, like that look unnecessarily flashy.
The weirder they look, the probably more valuable they are.
Yeah, and like there's like cards like there's cards that are like they'll have cards like this, like 50 versions of this same card, right? Like there'll be another card that's exactly like this, but it'll say on the bottom, like 15 out of 200. There's only 200 of them. They're worth more, right? And this card in particular, you see that it's like holographic sort of thing here. This is called a checkerboard holograph, right? And that also brings up the value. If it didn't have the holograph, about $15. It's $45 because it has this, right?
Yeah.
And
if you could get that signed, damn.
Oh my, okay, that's a whole nother thing, right? So like, there's also cards. Let me get them out over here. Like, here's some cards from 2018, right? And these people, they're not worth too much, but they still have some value to them. We have this ticket. So like, here's another one. This is from 2018 rookies. Okay, we have here this man called Zach Gentry, right? And this was the style that they had. It looked kind of like a ticket. Now, there's also a difference between these cards. This one, as you see, it says bowl ticket, right? Then if you look at the next one, it says college ticket. There's different. Bowl ticket is worth more because this guy went to I think the Rose Bowl or the Pro Bowl or some crap, right? So he's like, whatever it was. I can't remember the exact specifics of what it was. This card, right? If we see, there's like a good amount of these cards, right? But the thing as well that brings it more valuable, this card is about $35, I believe. This card has, first of all, like I said, the bowl ticket. It's also called a short print because this is 10 out of 99. There's only 99 of these that exist. And also it has the signature. The signature is called a sticker signature because this guy signed
it. Physical signature.
No. They gave him a sheet with hundreds of little stickers.
It's just basically like a copy paste type of thing.
Yeah, and then they took the stickers, put them on the card, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that also affects the value. I have this other one of, and you see, like I said, he was a short print, right? This guy, 10 out of 99. But if you get the same one without the short print, like $10 instead of the 30. Okay. Then you have Hakeem Butler. This card is a little different because it's on card signature. He signed the actual card, right? I think this one's about $40, right? And all these things affect the price. And some people may think just because you have a rookie card of someone that it's worth something, sometimes it has to be the specific rookie card, right? And what I tell everyone is we were mentioning this the other time, right? Is YouTube is an amazing tool. You should go on YouTube and you should try to research this stuff because no matter how much we talk, you're never going to be able to understand as much, right? There's also things, if we go into the rookies is where the money is, and that's where you want to find them, right? That's what you want to find. I have over here some other cards these are called blue parallels of the cards, and they have what is the rated rookie. The rated rookies are worth a lot.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor?
Yes, Jonathan Taylor. I have a Jonathan Taylor rated rookie. I think he's $5. I don't have him in a thing because it's not too crazy. Here's James Morgan. I have Joe Reed. I have C.J. Henderson. And who's this guy? Oh no, that's not a rookie card. But there's also these ones that have the rated rookie, which also is different. Like a Tua card.
Yeah.
Tua cards are not worth a lot right now, but we all know Tua is somebody that everyone is going to be watching, right? I'm looking at buying a Tua card right now, about $30. If Tua starts playing, Tua's cards can go up in a second, right? And everyone talks about the money of it. I'll be honest. I had to think about this before I started getting into it. You have to, if you're going to get into cards, you shouldn't think about the money. You should be thinking about, the fun of it. If you don't like sports, honestly, you should never buy cards because you're not going to care. You're not going to care if, this card, I'm kind of nervous because he got hurt. But Keyshawn Vaughn, right here, Rated rookie. Ooh, such a good card. But, it's like, if you're not interested in it, you shouldn't get into it. Right? And like I said, it's something that I've been into a lot. I'm actually thinking about making an Instagram page soon about it, just so I can post about this all the time, because I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm going to start selling these cards on eBay. So, I don't know if there's any questions that you have, Josh, that maybe I could answer that other people are maybe thinking about, like before we finish it off soon.
You mentioned the last time we spoke, because I mentioned that my dad has some cards as well from like he was young. And I believe one of the cards is a Nolan Ryan rookie card. And I remember you mentioned like cards from the 70s to the 80s, I believe, or like
it's like 80s to 90s.
Okay, 80s to 90s are worth nothing because they had like a really high supply.
Yes, what happened basically was, so most people's parents, they remember when cards were huge, right? Right now, cards, they're not even that big right now. Cards are going to get big. Logan Paul's talking about $200,000 Pokemon cards.
That he just bought.
That he just bought, and he's selling $11,000 per pack. And it comes with like 15 packs inside. And inside every single stupid little pack is like 10 cards, right? So basically it's like $1,000 per card. So what I'm saying is like, it's not even as big as it is. If Ellen comes out tomorrow and says that she bought cards, my goodness. This is going to go insane. This is going to, like, if The Rock, the day of tomorrow, said he's buying cards.
I was about to say The Rock. I swear to God.
Because The Rock is the most followed person on Instagram. Has the most influence ever. The Rock comes out tomorrow, and he said, guys, I just bought a Justin Herbert card. Just because he said that, these cards are going to go up, and every single card is going to go up, right? Mm-hmm. No matter, like, everything's going to go up. Because then all of a sudden, everyone that thought it was just losers.
Like, it's dumb. All of a sudden, like, The Rock's doing it. I want to do it.
Yeah. There's money into it. There's a piece of cardboard that I can pull from Walmart and Target that could be worth about, $1,000. Okay, I'll do it, right? But what I'm getting at is the cards, they never had this type of market to them before until very, into late 90s, early 2000s. But what happened was that the cards that were being produced in the 80s, late 70s, 80s, up to the early 90s, kind of like just before the 90s, because that Michael Jordan cards that came out then, right, in 93, insane cards, right, they're worth them a lot. But, they started producing millions of them because they're like, people love cards, right? Let's just make all the crazy good cards, like 1 million of them, right? Not even 1 million, because that's probably what they do now. They're like, let's make 20 million of them. Right? And now people are, and then they're like, what they start doing is like, you guys can get there'll be a lighter in your pack, right? So now everybody's buying cards because they're like, I get a couple cards, it's kind of fun, and then I get to smoke. Whatever. They start horrible value. It became like Germany in the World War when they started printing money.
Burning money, yeah.
Burning money, lighting wallpaper with that, right? Don't want to go into history lesson. If you don't know, my goodness. But they started being horrible, right? And that's when it started. The 90s is when it started coming back, because then they were like, okay, we're not going to print a lot of cards. No one bought them. Everyone just threw them away. It's horrible, right? And that's when it started coming back. So that's why the best thing to do is to have old cards, to have like 2000s cards, to have people who are established players, right? The day of tomorrow, Tom Brady retires, right? First of all, his cards go up, but after that, let's say Tom Brady doesn't end up being, in all respects, Tom Brady, he doesn't end up being some sort of rapist or something. He ends his life being a good person, right? But it's like honest truth. If he ends his life being a good person or whatever, and they're like, go, greatest of all time, right? His cards will always go up, and they're always going to be good.
Yeah, and they're not
Michael Jordan cards,
they're going to stay steady and just up.
Yes. It's going to always up, always going up, right? But if it's something, and they're the best cards to get because they're already established. They're already, doing good. And it's the best when somebody's retired, right? And even if they're dead, like if Michael Jordan has been dead for 10 years, it's still good to buy a Michael Jordan card if you're thinking about it money-wise, because he's just going to keep going up in value, because he's always going to be considered as one of the greats, and the older it gets, the more value it gets, right? So that's kind of my take on it, how it works. I'm still obviously learning as I go and understanding things, but I recommend to people to do it. It's fun. You don't know if your local Walmart will most definitely have them if you look for them. I don't know if there will be any there. Every time I go, I got so lucky with these. There would be like 1 or 2 packs left at the Walmart, right? And these other cards that I bought, which one were they?
I noticed somewhere that always has cards, like almost always, is Target. Target normally always has cards.
Yes. And I would recommend, anyone that's getting into it, research to understand like the different lines. There's Optic. There's Panini Optic. There's Panini Mosaic. There's Topps. They have the Topps Chrome. They have the Topps, different versions of the Topps cards. You have to understand which ones they are. The ones that are the hottest right now, quite honestly, it's actually the Panini Prism cards. For basketball, the Prism cards for basketball are stupid expensive. And look, if you can buy them at Walmart, that's the best, because people literally will buy the stuff at Walmart for $10-15, and then after it's sold out everywhere, they try to sell the cards, the box, right, or the little pack. They'll sell them for 10 times what they're worth. $100. What you bought for $10 that gives you like a stack of cards like that or whatever, they're selling it for $100, and you still have the same cards, right?
Yeah.
It's
and something I was thinking about is like, all these distribution centers or warehouses where they do the cards. I was trying to think like, I wonder if workers like come up on some of these cards, because they probably realize like, dude, this is like freaking expensive. Like, if I take this now, no one will realize it, and I don't know. There's a lot of quality control in the cards, that they do, and a lot of times, from what I understand, is there's a lot of supervision with the cards, because they know. Because sometimes there's other cards. I don't have a single one of those cards yet, but there's cards that are called patch cards, right? Or patch autographs, where they will be like, let's say, I'm just going to give an example. I don't have one of these, but just to show. This card is about this thin, right? And then you have another card that's like thick, or like, let's say it's double that. Right? You have a card that's like really thick, right? So there's thick cards that literally they'll get the card, and they'll have the person, right? Like, imagine the person here. And then over here in a square, they literally cut a piece of a jersey that they wore in a certain game. Right? Oh, so there's like, there's this Kyler Murray card, right? Where it's his jersey. A Kyler Murray jersey. I think they were doing, it was like the game to go to the playoffs or something like that, right? Kyler, and it's the perfectly the Cardinal. Right? In the little square. Like, they did it so perfect. That card is I think it's worth like $8,000 or something, right? And those cards are also worth more because they come with the patch, right? And they have to like press it in there, and those are also a whole different beast, So like the cards, they can come up on them, but I don't know if they can come up on them, but I understand there's a lot of quality control into it. And then if they try to steal a patch card, which those are obviously worth a lot more, there's some that are like Super Bowl worn, where they're like, holy crap, that's worth a lot of money, right? And there's only like 20 of them, only 10, that they're worth a lot of money, and that's hard to come by, So I think, like, I know you obviously said it jokingly, but, they could obviously come up on them, maybe like the base set cards that are worth like $1 or whatever. But the cards are pretty well, being protected, and they're trying to do well about maintaining the market as well. Like I said, they're not going to be like Germany and just print 1 million of the expensive cards, because then they would end up being worth nothing, Yeah. So it's like, I think it's fun. If anyone likes sports, something that Gary Vee was saying was like, because he's really into cards. He's really into the sports cards. Yeah, he's the one that got Logan Paul into cards.
He's the one that got Logan Paul into cards, right? So like, what I'm saying, like with cards is, that I think, at least this is how I'm going to think about it now. is that you're going to be betting with your friends. You're not going to be betting on like with money, or you're not going to be playing. You might still be playing fantasy, but you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to spend $100 and buy a rookie Keyshawn Vaughn card, right? Like maybe not, this one's not worth a lot, but there's different cards of him that are worth more. You're like, let's say I'm going to buy a rookie Tom Brady card, right? I'm going to bet on him. Or I'm going to bet on somebody like Justin Herbert. I'm going to buy a Justin Herbert card because I think they're going to the Super Bowl this year. You're like, oh, dang, that's a big thing to, bet on. And you're actually putting your money where your mouth is, and you're spending $100 on a card that could go up literally like 10 times.
Even more. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. If you guys want to hear more about cards, I don't think we're going to talk on here too much about it. Because it's kind of
on our next live, probably.
Yeah, on the live.
Drops.
Yes, because it's kind of difficult to speak on cards, It's kind of difficult to say everything about them, and like I said, it's something that takes time. If you want to get into it, I recommend that you watch YouTube videos, that you try to understand more on your own time, just so you can, actually grow in understanding. But if you guys want to make me, because I'm thinking of making an Instagram, making like a YouTube channel around it, because I'm having a lot of fun. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. It's something really cool. If you're into sports, I definitely think you should buy cards here and there. Maybe buy a couple of your favorite players. Like right now, I'm bidding on a Jimmy Garoppolo card. His rookie 2014 card. So, just do it. If you guys have fun, if you guys have questions, let me know. I don't have all the questions. I don't have all the answers, I mean. But if you have questions, let me know. I might just have an answer, or I'll give you my somewhat ill-informed, not so educated, but slightly educated opinion.
Yeah, and we hope you guys enjoyed. We had 2 topics for you prepared for you today. We could keep talking about cards for like another hour, but we're going to cut it short here.
Yeah, if anything, me and Josh will talk on our own or something.
Yeah, we'll probably get it right after this. That's what we always do with our podcast. We always talk like for another hour after our podcast.
Yeah.
And but we hope you guys enjoyed. To those who actually stay the whole time, we appreciate you. We love you guys. Those that have been on our live and recently just followed us and saw my dad bully me on live, I hope you guys enjoyed it because it really hurt. What else?
Follow us to witness more child abuse.
Yeah, follow us to witness more child abuse. That's about it. If you guys want me to shave, repost us. Repost the screenshots of either our lives or our podcasts. And
oh, wait, Josh. I have something that I wanted to do because, like we said, we're gonna talk to the true fans here that listened to the last couple minutes, right? I have 3 people that signed up, that did the things we said. They sent a thing, and I wanted to see right now. I'm just thinking about this on the fly. I'm gonna write their names and give them a number. Let me write here. I'm gonna write their names and give them a number, okay? And then after I do this, Josh, I want you to pick a number between 1 and 3, okay?
Okay.
There's 3 people. I'm going to say who they are. I'm not going to say who they are. I'll say who they are after you pick the number, okay?
Okay.
1 second. There's only 3. I know it's not as exciting, and I didn't think of a way to make it cool, but don't bug, okay? And the only people listening are probably these 3 people. Okay. And then I'm not gonna do anything to post here, like just to let you guys know. I'm not gonna post nothing.
We'll just send.
I'm gonna tell you guys to DM me, right? I'm gonna tell you guys to DM me. I'm gonna give you like 3 days. If you don't DM me, I'll be very disappointed. I'm just saying, right? Okay, so Josh, pick a number between 1 and 3, and this is gonna be and right now we're not gonna do another giveaway because we have 3 to catch up to, right? So I'm waiting for more to come in, and then also just to get them over with, right? So Josh, 1, 2, 3, pick a number.
1, 2, or 3. So I don't know if you guys do this too, but when I think of like numbers, I think of like what they're affiliated with. Like 1, I start thinking of like who's number 1, like Cam Newton, KCP, like stuff like that. Who's number 3, Anthony Davis. Who's number 2, Lonzo Ball. So I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis, number 3.
Number 3. Okay, we have our winner. We had 3 contestants. Let me say who the contestants were. I'm going to say it in a random order. We had Amy, we had Joseph, and we had Isme. Okay? So, the person that you chose was number 3, which was Joseph Perez. So, Joseph, Joseph, listen to me. You have 3 days to contact me, okay? If you don't contact me, I'll probably send you a DM because I don't want to, be a horrible person. But please contact me, and I'm going to send you $5.
After we post this podcast, though, right?
Yes, after posting the
right?
podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just like you do realize 3 days from now we won't even post this podcast.
No. 3 days after I post the podcast, obviously, because I always think time works a week late. You know what I mean? Like right now, we're like who we are right now. We're a week late in the past. We're a week in the past. So I always think like I'm that guy that's in a week.
Yeah. So
whatever.
Congratulations, Joseph, and Sua, or excuse me, Mary and Amy. Sorry, you guys.
I don't know what the heck.
Time.
I know her as Isma from her Instagram, but yes, whatever your name is.
But you guys will probably win the next time. For the next raffle, we had the same people, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be the same people unless more people join. I don't know, how many people are gonna be listening to it now. If you do, post us on your story, and then just send us a DM. Tag us, obviously. Send us a DM with the screenshot, or just send us a DM. Say I'm a true fan, right? Then I'm gonna know that you listened all the way to the end. Okay, That should be it. This has been once again the Lama Podcast. Much love to all of you for listening. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support. Continue supporting and sharing the podcast. This has been the Lama Podcast. Thank you and peace out.